This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
And we also have a very happy Max Arraj on board with us tonight for the Monday Night LowcoSports Lowdown because the top story of the night, there were some profanities being shared in the text thread before HHCA rallied in the seventh. There was 1-0, and it just nothing was panning out for them. But HHCA gets 3 in the seventh. Wins it 3-1. We've got a few highlights from our friend DJ Styles. Toby Colella was we were texting throughout the rally at the end, and I told him it still feels like you guys are going to win this game when they went up to bat in the seventh, and he said it feels like that here too, which told me a lot, but then it didn't look so good for a second when Steel Bird struck out, but the Eagles able to put the pressure on the defense and push across 3 in the seventh. So they win 3-1. That sets them up exceptionally well because they get to play at home. It will not be tomorrow as scheduled. It'll be Wednesday night. Just going to go ahead and cut to the chase and save themselves the trouble of getting rained out tomorrow, I think. So Wednesday night at HHCA will be the opportunity to clinch. PD will try to force it to a game 3 at a neutral site, but definitely sets up HHCA well with the win tonight. And I mean, the pitching was outstanding. Even the one run that PD got, it was a hit by pitch, a walk, a bunt that was mishandled. They made an error on a sacrifice bunt, and then they scored it on a ground out. But they had only like one ball out of the infield for most of the night. Terrific pitching from James Crosby, and then Dylan Clark coming in out of the pen, and then just some relentless offense at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Max, what a thrilling way to win. And I was worried that they had a great shot in the sixth, but when you put it into perspective, the way they were able to chase the starter, Richardson, who, I mean, he threw 111 pitches before exiting, and Kazi took over, and he did not have it. Hilton had Chris Cadmy was able to capitalize off a couple of walks and opportunistic putting balls in play, including an error, and just a heck of a way to respond. And they couldn't have done it without the stellar pitching of Crosby and then Dylan Clark, who came in relief. And what a performance by the state championship winning quarterback, who was looking to continue his incredible high school season. He threw 2 2/3, no hit ball, 4 strikeouts to back up and Crosby didn't allow an earned run as well. I mean, just absolutely majestic pitching from this Eagles squad, and then the offense, found the timely opportunities to pounce and score enough. And so that is a heck of a win on the road against a very, very good PD County team who I thought was able to score at will against Hilton Head Prep. But this HHCA squad, there's a switch that flipped when they lost that first game to Williamsburg. And since then, the pitching has been close to lights out. The offense, obviously, they scored just 3 today, but I like the approach that they had at the plate. And, you're going up against you can't expect to score many against Richards. I mean, when you're able to beat the ace like that, I mean, that's everything. Just to hang toe for toe with them. And just so, Max, I mean, you have to be over the moon proud of how this team performed, 1 win away from a state championship.
Yeah, I am. I really am. I think we were all thinking the same thing going into, in the 6th inning, you had bases loaded basically and just could not score a run. And I was like, oh no, we're in trouble. And then, 7th inning came around. They started getting on base. I watched that whole 7th inning. I was like, okay, keep it going, keep the line going, and they did. They did. And they showed they know how to fight. I mean, we've seen it all season long, but they know how to fight. And against some of the best teams in the state of South Carolina. And PD Academy is one of those top teams. So, to see this Hilton Christian Academy team, come out in the 7th inning, 3 outs left for you to get a win here. And they score 3 runs. And they did it in different ways, too. I mean, it wasn't like hit for power. It wasn't they found multiple different ways to score 3 runs in the 7th and put it away in the bottom of the 7th to take the one game lead in the series. And now you're coming on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. You come on Wednesday, and now you expect. I would assume Zane Wilson will get the start on the mound for the Eagles on Wednesday. I think he's like that number one pitcher for them throughout the playoffs. So I expect him to take the mound, and they're going to go all out for this game because they know, one more game left.
You wouldn't win at home. You don't want to take it to a neutral site.
Yeah, you want to.
I'll tell you, if Zane had a lead and I needed somebody to close it out, I'd go Hayden Brooks and just let him pump and finish it off.
That's true.
If I had a lead at home in game 2, I think I would. I mean, it depends on the situation, obviously, but if you're up 3 or 4 runs or something like that, and you can just lock it down and not have to worry about that third game, that's what I'd do.
I think.
But here's a good stat for you. Talking about getting Richardson out of the game, because he's a legit ace, like across the board, anywhere you put him, any school. Like Toby said, he was sitting like 90 plus.
And also, they drew 4 walks against them.
They did. Well, here's the stat. Here's the stat. They saw 4.625 pitches per at bat against him. That was clearly purposeful. That was a game plan. We're gonna see pitches. We're gonna let him walk us if he wants to. We're gonna fight with 2 strikes, and at some point we're gonna get him out of this game and have a chance. They executed that well. And then they took that patience through when Causey came in and wasn't throwing strikes, and they drew some walks.
That is beautiful baseball. Beautiful baseball.
Yeah, it's smart, and I mean we saw how Colby Richardson pitched against Hilton Head Prep last week in game 1 of those 2 games against Prep, and me and Wes both saw he was pumping some gas from the mound, and he shut Prep down pretty much the entire game up until the 7th inning. So I mean, you look at that and you knew that
he's from the left side too, right?
Huh?
He's from the left side too, right?
Yeah, he throws 90 plus on the left side. I mean, that is no easy.
That's not fun.
It's not. It's really not. And so, I mean, the fact they had a game plan coming in is what you need, and they had the right game plan too. So that I think was the reason they got to. I mean, because for most of that game, he shut them down until he just But they had the long-term goal. The long-term plan, which was, get him to enough pitches where they got to take him out because his arm's going to be ruined if you pitch him any longer. So,
well, you can't by rule 110. Yeah, you got to go. So,
how many pitches did he throw tonight? He threw
111. He threw as many as he could. They only took him out because they had to.
What's the count for skis? What's the maximum?
It's 110, but you can finish the batter.
Yeah,
you get to finish the batter.
So, I mean, at that point, I think that was. I mean, what we saw in this game, that was the plan. I mean, we immediately noticed, oh boy, he's getting high up there in pitches. He may be taken out before the 7th inning comes around. And sure enough, they had to take him out. They had no choice, and that was probably the best move and best game plan I think Christian Academy has put together this season was find a way to get their ace out of the game. So you have enough time and enough outs to use to get back in this game, and I think that's exactly what they did. And
your pitchers have to keep you in it. They have to keep you within striking distance. And
right, I mean, your pitcher has to do the job. But I'm loving this last dance mentality from Wilkers. I mean, this is it. He's like this. I mean, I think that definitely inspired him.
I think that was a stroke of genius. I really do. I think that was a little spark, and then the rain delay, the rain out when they were kind of flat that game against Florence, and then he came out and announced it the next day, right? Or the day after that, I think that was really good timing. I think it was just the jolt they needed to kind of refocus them on the magnitude of it and what the meaningfulness of it and how much they needed to really lock in and focus and make sure they got the job done. They didn't have another slip up. So they're all set up now. You got to like their chances. You got through the ace. He's burned. Hilton Christian, I think, has a little more depth pitching wise than PD, but PD was in that same situation on the other side of the bracket. They lost their first one to OP, and they were, in trouble, it looked like, but they were able to fight back and then absolutely demolished Hilton Head Prep the last game. So, they're a resilient bunch, and this is a good rivalry. There's not a lot of love lost with the football rivalry over the years and all that stuff. So they'll be coming for blood on Wednesday, trying to scrap and stay in it for another day. They'll definitely be throwing the kitchen sink. Whoever they got left will be all hands on deck for them to try to stay alive. So Wednesday night at HHCA should be a good one. I'm thinking 6 o'clock, but I don't know that for sure. But we'll know by the time we get there for sure. 6 o'clock was what it was scheduled for tomorrow, so I assume it'll be the same Wednesday.
Yep.
Unfortunately, rough start to the Skeeza 2A softball championship series for Colleton Prep. They lost 6-1 to Clarendon Hall, which is not terribly surprising. Clarendon Hall got the better of them in the regular season, and that was one of the teams we knew had been able to hang with them. But not out of it yet. They played them tough. They lost 8-0 to them a couple weeks ago and 14-0 earlier in the season. So played them tough today with a 6-1 loss, but they'll have to win 2 straight to take the title. Nonetheless, really cool for them to be in that position.
I was looking at some of the scores early, and I think they played them twice. They lost both times. That's a really good team, Clarendon Hall. So I mean, good for Colleton Prep for making it to this final series. But from what I've seen about this Clarendon Hall team, that's a really strong squad. But yeah, I mean, look, improvement, I guess. I mean, they lost. They played them twice, I believe, in the regular season. They lost 14-0 in the first game on April 25th. Then they lost 8-0 on May the 3rd, and this one is 6-1. So you're getting closer, and if you find a way to, scrap across a couple runs in a close game, and maybe you can find a way to put the pressure on them and force a game 3. So still in front of them, and we'll see how they'll battle. Now they get to go back home. That's always nice, playing in front of your fans and see if you can force a sign game. So, I mean, good luck to the Colleton Prep Warhawks, and good thing they're building over there. They recently won the state championship, as I said, on Saturday in the podcast back in 21. So we'll see if they can fight their way back. But just once again, I'm really proud of that Hilton Christian Academy team. Because there was some worrying signs after that first third game, and then they turned it all around quickly after that. So they're 1 win away. So I'm pumped. I mean, how often do you get to see a team compete for a chance to win a state championship on their home field? It doesn't happen very much at all. So that's going to be a special atmosphere, especially in a field, the cage, which is one of the best places to play in terms of environment. I mean, those fans and students show out for these games. So just imagine how it's going to feel like on Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be it. And as far as I can tell, it looks like a ton of Bluffton people and May River people and probably some Hilton Head Prep people and JP2 people. And, there's going to be a lot of people coming out to support. Only game in town situation, and I think there's going to be a ton of people out there. I know that Tracy Martucci, Mama Tooch, is planning to be there, and she's a very raucous fan that will be in Hilton Head Christian's corner. So, I think it's going to be a great environment, and I think they're going to want to close it out there. I think they're going to want to take care of business. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's Zane Wilson until he runs out of pitches or starts to falter wobble a little bit, and then you go to Hayden Brooks and just slam the door if you got the lead. Now you can't do that if you're behind, right? Like you gotta hold something back for game 3 if you're not in position to win it. But if you got a lead late, I think I would take that risk. You have to find a way to
slam the door and put your eggs into that basket. But
go
ahead.
The other thing not going Christian Academy's way is I did hear. I guess we mentioned it on our group chat that Cody Bratt is dealing with.
Yeah, he left tonight. We're not sure exactly what it is because we have non-medical opinions.
That's
being floated over text. But he did leave the game tonight. He had kind of an oblique strain the other night, and he left tonight. So we're just speculating that may have tweaked that. He left after a sharp line out to left. So for me, that would kind of check out maybe with oblique. If he put a hard swing on one, he could have tweaked that. And that'll be a concern. If he can play, if it's just a pain management thing, if he's able to fight through it, he will. But it sounds like it's a nagging thing, and those obliques are tough to shake. I mean, they don't just go away. It's only time that heals them. So, you see big leaguers out for extended
that would
periods.
Be a tough loss because he has been that spark plug at the top of the lineup. I mean, base stealer when he gets on. I mean, he's kind of the guy that
and a lockdown center fielder too.
Right. Yeah, that could be a tough loss if he's not available for game 2.
Although the kid Jackson Richardson did well when he stepped in there tonight. He got a hit and drew a walk, scored a run, so that was big for them. He's ready. I mean, he's a baller. They got kids who can do it, no question. But only 3 hits for Christian tonight. I think it's actually 4 because I think Keene's hard ground ball to short that was an error, scored an error, probably should have been a hit. According to Toby. But Roman Colella had a couple knocks. Richardson had 1. And then Keene, we think, had 1. Only 1 hit for PD. Outstanding performance from Crosby and Clark. Crosby was a little erratic. He walked 4, hit 1, threw a couple wild pitches, but man, Clark came in and was just throwing BBs. So they locked that one down. And on to the next one. One went away.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm pumped for Wednesday.
Good stuff. Colleton Prep is supposed to be home tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. If Javon's watching, maybe he'll let us know. Colleton Prep's supposed to be at home tomorrow, but I don't know with the weather whether that will get bumped Wednesday as well.
Yeah, that's probably going to get bumped. I did talk with Javon. Well, I texted him today. I was like, "Are you interested in doing game 2?" And we're still talking about it, but I think he might be doing it. I'm not sure yet, though.
Okay.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on the Buford's own page to see if he announces that he'll be broadcasting the game. The MVP sponsors of LowcoSports help make this all possible. And most of all, it's Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports, and my wife, who gives me the thumbs up to run this labor of love. And she would love to help you find your place in the Lowco or upgrade to a better place in the Lowco. She's with Keller Williams Realty of the Lowcountry, and she would love to help you find a home, get into the real estate market. It's a great time to do it, and Megan Jarrett is the one to call. She's the official realtor of LowcoSports. Homegrown Home Inspections is your official home inspector of LowcoSports. They're the best in the biz when it comes to checking out that home, making sure it's a great investment. And if you're building a new home, you got to have the phased inspection from Homegrown. They'll check on it every step of the way and make sure it's being built right at Homegrown Home Inspections. Nicholson Law Firm, they're happy over there tonight. The presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, as well as our original sponsor since 2017 and our official real estate closing attorney. Mickelson Law Firm been supporting us from the start, so calling them for your legal needs. I know they're partying. The Mickle squad is feeling good tonight, and they'll be out in force at the nest, at the cage. The cage. Man, mixed up my nicknames for a second. Yeah. In Landshark Park. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry is our official hospice provider, and they are the only not-for-profit hospice in Southern Beaufort County. They got their big event going off this weekend, the Yacht Hop. Hope you have tickets. It's going to be awesome and going to raise lots of money for the services they provide at no out-of-pocket cost. And Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, where it's not about dying, it's about living. Did you have comments on the Yacht Hop, Wes? You go.
Oh, it's coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, party time. So those are our MVP sponsors. We appreciate their support throughout the year, and we'll be looking for more MVP sponsors going into the next year. So get in touch with us if you want to be a part of that. LowcoSports@gmail.com. Boys, let's talk a little bit about the other 2 sports that are still going. We got a little golf and a little track and field. The golf tournaments got underway today. The state golf tournaments not looking so hot over at Rose Hill for the local contingent. AC Flora blew it out with a 289 They lead by 6 shots over North Augusta. May River with a 324 is in 13th, and then Bluffton with a 333 in 14th. So up against it this week, but still fighting, and one more day to play tomorrow at Rose Hill. Might be a little sloppy.
Yeah.
Might be sloppy.
Ooh.
No, at that point, you're just trying to move up the board. You're trying to pick off a few people. It's kind of like the end of a race.
More risky. You got to find a way to hit some things and, play that aggressive.
Go for it.
Golf. Go for the flagstick.
There you go. But better news from the 3A state tournament at the Traces. Buford is in 5th after a 315. Wren leads the way with a 301, 2 shots ahead of Blue Ridge. And Philip Simmons is right there alongside Buford as well. So, Buford right there, a top 5 finish would be a really solid showing for them. And they're right in the mix to do that. So, good start for Buford at the 3A boys golf. But let's talk some track, because we got a bunch of track qualifiers, and I will kind of go through them. I guess Bluffton had, so starting with 4A, Bluffton boys had 5 events qualified in, but Earl Baker accounted for 3 of them in the 800, 16, and 32. So he'll be a contender to medal in all of those events, I would think. Jaquez Haynes from Colleton County qualified in the 100 and the 200, and the Cougars made the 4x1. Seahawks made the 4x4 and 4x8 relays. No surprise there. They're always strong there. Zach Sellers in the 200 and the 400, qualifying in multiple events. And they had a bunch of other qualifiers, but those 2 in multiple events. May River multi-qualifiers, Noah Wasserman, 1st in the 32 and 2nd in the 16. So he's poised for a couple podium finishes potentially. Jackson Wright qualified in the 800 and the 1600, and the Sharks qualified in the 4x4 and 4x8. And then Buford boys on the 3A side, not as many qualifiers as they typically have, but Amari Patterson going in 2 events, the 100 and the 200. Eric Smart won the pole vault, won the 110 hurdles, and was 2nd in the 400 hurdles. He's been terrific this year. I imagine he was on that 4x1 relay as well. Naeem Pope with the high jump win, or not win, but qualification, and the 4x1 made it as well. Whale Branch. Now here's a list for you, boys. The Whale Branch boys. Bradford Thompson won the discus and the shot, put 5th in the 100, which is unreal to me. That is a large human being. So he qualifies in 3 events. Jesse Richardson in 3 events. He won the 16 and the 32, also made it in the 800. Jonathan Kelly in the 200 and the 110 hurdles. Keith Chisholm in the 110 hurdles, high jump and triple jump. LaRon Wright in all 3 jumps. And the Warriors qualified in all 3 relays. So terrific showing for them. Terrence Hayward from Royal Live Oaks qualified in the pole vault. And then Hampton County, they won both team titles at the lower state meet. The boys' results are all janked up on SC Mile Split, so can't see the marks. But I do know that Hezekiah Abrams qualified in all the jumps. Kayvon in the discus and the shot. Tyler Davis in both hurdles and the triple. They qualified in the 4x1 and 4x4. And Jalen Singletary in both hurdles, plus some other qualifiers and individual stuff. So that's the boys. We'll get into the girls in a minute, but let's talk a little bit about the boys. Whale Branch and Hampton County both look like they have a real shot at state titles. And by the way, they'll both be in the same region next year in 2A.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
Wow.
To see them go up against each other like that. But yeah, these are perennial powerhouses in track and field doing it once again. And I expect both these teams to have a real shot come the state meet. And we if you watch this during the fall, a lot of these names are familiar because they were stars on the football field, and especially when you look at guys like Kayvon Chisholm you mentioned, and then Bradford Thompson on Whale Branch and many others. And I mean, just the coaches do a tremendous job training these guys, and they're terrific built athletes who just show up and perform at a high level in these kinds of these biggest meets. And I love the way they push each other, the attitude out there. And just really cool, especially for a 1A school to have this consistent level of talent and and just little Seabrook in Beaufort County. It's always fun to watch when Whale Branch's teams and athletes perform at a high level, and see of course the Nick Pringle story, and I love that culture there. I love to see the success at Whale Branch, one of my favorite schools to be able to go and cover, and just all the props to them. And Hampton County, it's really been the year of the Hurricanes, hasn't it? Because it all started with that football run, basketball. It's basketball, a great season as well, and now a lot of these familiar names doing it on the track, and yeah, just these field events, shot put, the discus. It takes so much strength, conditioning, and you have the determination to do it. Because it all comes down to how you perform on one day, and these guys know how to show up. So a lot of props to these young men and young women. We'll talk about the young women a little later, but these guys are bringing it. So I'm pumped to see them compete. I feel like I'd love to delve more into just talking to these guys. Hopefully, we can get a chance to sit down with them once things wrap up for the year, and just talk with them and their seasons, and how they were able to accomplish what they did. So hopefully, we can have that to look forward to once all the spring sports are completed.
That's a great idea. We should track down as many state champs as we can and get them in here to pick their brains and hear their stories. But looking over at the girls' side, in 4A, Bluffton had a really solid showing, highlighted by Maddie Washington, fresh
Yes.
off injury, coming out and winning both the discus and the shot with elite marks. So you can see why Winthrop wanted her. So she's poised to podium, if not gold, in both of those next weekend, which is amazing. Bobcats also qualifying in the 4x4 and 4x8. Colleton County just one qualifier, Zariana Hudson in the high jump. Hilton Head High had a bunch, including no double qualifiers. Interestingly, Ava Pankuch and Helena Pfister in the pole vault, Janelle Stevens in the high jump, Lillian Bigger won the jav, and Shanice Ransom in the 100, and then the two longer relays, 4x4 and 4x8. May River, just one individual qualifier, Ariel Reck in the triple jump, and then the Sharks in the 4x8. Pretty good showing for Beaufort girls. Isel Tantia in the 8 and the 16. Anaya Housel in the 100 hurdles, high jump, and long jump. They qualified in all three relays, so they're set up pretty well. But then again, Whale Branch. It's an impressive list for them. Destiny Pryor in the 100, 200, and long jump. Faith Eugene in the 100 and 400. Grace Bing in both hurdles and the high jump. Larmore Pryor in the 100, 200, and long jump. Makima Adams in the 800 and triple, Talaja Bartley in the 400 and 100 hurdles, and they qualified in all three relays, winning all three relays. So I would expect a banner at Whale Branch, another one of those. And Hampton County also had a great day. Ariana Allen in the 100 and 200, Kalia Dobson in the high and the long, Taryn Hanna in the 1600 and the 800, Zakila Henderson in both hurdles, Tashana Leverett in all three jumps, and Kaya McGuire in discus and shot, plus a few others. So they are also poised to make a good run at it. It should be a fun week, the track and field teams.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait to keep an eye on all this stuff going around for track and field on Saturday.
Yeah, they get their own shine. Yeah, echoing like what I said earlier. Yeah, it's cool that they get their own spotlight after all the others have finished, because they put in as much work, if not more, than some of these other sports that we kind of have given our attention to. But prop once again to that Whale Branch program. Also love to see that from Maddie Washington. You mentioned her over there at Bluffton, and Hilton Head providing some. That's always been another solid program, both cross country and track over the years. So good to see the Seahawks are still churning over there. Although it's been a much more balanced level of success with schools like Bluffton, May River, and Hilton Head in the past few years. So Yeah, I expect to see especially some hard work coming out of Whale Branch and potentially Hampton County as well. I'm not going to either the guys or the girls going into that 2A state championship meet. So I'm excited to see how they do and what they're able to accomplish, and that'll be a nice way to cap off the spring season and the school year in general to crown some state champs in track and field.
Indeed, indeed. Varsity sponsors of LowcoSports. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, and maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you want to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, and they've jumped on board to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes like those Hampton County Hurricanes and boys out at the farm that you went and saw the other night. I know it was a sad ending, but I do want to hear more about your experience at the farm. Reverence Wrestling Club was the place to be if you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level. They're our official wrestling sponsor and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. And Dr. Ambrose Cole is the official chiropractor of LowcoSports, and you can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Those are our varsity sponsors. How was the trip to the farm, boys? I listened to the show. Sound like you had a good time.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, like my first experience at the farm, so I didn't really know what to expect, but it's oh man, it was a great atmosphere, and pretty much everybody from both schools decided they were going to show up for this game. I'm pretty sure the entire Calhoun Academy school, parents, and family members and stuff showed up for this game. And the same thing for Patrick Henry, and the right field mafia was up and running the other night too, fireworks and everything. So, it was really fun. It was really fun out there. I feel really bad for Patrick Henry though. It was a rough way to end the game. Only losing by one run. It was a tough one to lose and finish the season for what has been a successful senior class over the years.
Really?
It's sad that it had to end that way, but I cannot wait to get back out to the farm and possibly for some football in the fall, because I know baseball is fun. Good Lord, what is
we're trying to get them to call the whole place the farm, but it's Cone Field though. It's Cone Field for football.
I don't know. It's the farm to me.
I know. I call it the whole thing's the farm to me. The whole place just feels like a farm.
Yeah.
I mean, if baseball game atmospheres are that crazy, I can't even imagine what football games are like over there. I cannot wait to go back out there in the fall to watch some PHA football.
Game there. That'd be cool to see one. I'm sure the Stricklander would love us to pay him a visit. It just it's just hard to choose. There's so many good games.
Yeah, I swung by there last year, first round of the playoffs, I think it was. I hung out at Hampton for a little bit, and then I ran over to.
Yeah, it's supposed to. It's definitely easier when Hampton's playing Hampton County.
That was the semis. That's what it was.
Or Hampton County or Patrick Henry, because they're right next to each other. So makes it an easier trip when you can catch 2 and 1. But that's coming off the state championship, so that's always fun. Obviously, you're losing Berry brothers.
Losing a lot.
Yeah, so there's going to be a couple of young guys are going to have to really take a step up. They want to run it back, so definitely be a lot much easier said than done as they try to defend their championship. But definitely motivates a lot of these younger kids to play even harder and look to keep it going and do what they saw those seniors did last year. And there's something to be said about that every year. And for teams that win a title, put the pressure on the underclassmen to try to do it again. So I'm excited for Patrick Henry's football season, but I love going to the farm. One of my favorite traditions of this time of year, and apparently I'm no good luck over there. I thought this was going to be I really thought they were going to win this one. I cannot believe they let. Credit to the battle. It was a 1-run game. A couple of errors, unfortunately, was the difference, but. They had a chance at that one, especially late. They brought the tying run to second and couldn't bring them in. Fortunately, they gave them a couple of free outs at unopportune times in that ball game, and a couple of walks and mistakes defensively end up being the difference. So unfortunate for Patrick Henry, but a really strong season once again for the Patriots. And good news is we still have a team playing this week in Hilton Head Christian Academy. But
That's right.
we'd
That's
love
right.
to see both, but man, the farm it's something special. It really has that magical vibes of pure baseball, playing
Field dream.
in that setting.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing
definitely. And Coach Wayne Brown gets a lot of credit for building that atmosphere and that culture. And we bid happy trails to him as he announced his resignation after the loss. That he's ready to step away, and that was the plan. He wanted to see this group of kids that he coached and travel ball and stuff through, and now hand it off to somebody else to take the reins. But he did a terrific job. It was an absolute pleasure to get to know him, interact with him. His appearances on the show with the team were some of the funniest and most memorable times that we've had on here, and kind of set us on a new course. I think it was like, yes, this is what this could be. And we kind of leaned into it and leaned into the silliness a little bit. And I think it's taken us to new heights. So credit to Coach Brown and the Patriots for helping us figure this thing out. But we do have some. What's that?
We do have some other news to get to.
We do have some other news. The first one is a big one. RBC is having some cold feet about the PGA Tour in general. It doesn't have anything to do with the Heritage per se, except that they are the sponsor of the Heritage. They're also the sponsor of the Canadian Open. And basically they've said, like, we're not sure what the business model is right now, and we're not sure how we fit into it, which is a fair statement given the state of pro golf right now with Live and there's just a lot going on, a lot of uncertainty. And if you know anything about, and I don't know much about it, but if you know about like the markets, the markets crave certainty. They despise uncertainty. And I think RBC, they put in $25 million for a 1-year deal to continue their sponsorship of these two events, and I think they're now kind of questioning whether that is something that they want to continue to do, what the return on investment is in this current landscape. And so it's a kind of a frightening headline, but at the same time, I think we talked about this during the tournament. I think the Heritage is much better positioned at this time to attract a new title sponsor than we were the last time we were in this position. So, I don't think this means necessarily the end for the Heritage or anything like that. But definitely the PGA Tour has some work to do. They need to figure some things out, and they need to get to the table with some of these key sponsors and keep them on board, because it's kind of a watershed moment.
This is to any fault of the Heritage itself.
No.
It's just the state of the tour and of RBC's philosophy on golf in general, with the emergence of Live and the uncertainty of what the tour is going to do moving forward and its success. So it's all market financially driven, and RBC is thinking that we're not sure what the future is going to hold, so they're going to kind of put the status in limbo. But I am certain that with the success and the recent line of champions of this event, with Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, taking it just a couple weeks ago, and before him, Jordan Spieth, Matt Fitzpatrick, it's a who's who of golf right now, or at least the last decade of golf. And I just don't see this tournament, in any potential danger just because of the success it's had on the tour. I feel like it's going to be, if RBC decides to move on, I gotta think someone's going to take a shot and become a new sponsor of this event. So I don't think this event's going to be in any jeopardy moving forward. It's just an unfortunate situation to see it happen, but something that you can't really control. It's all market tour driven, and hopefully we get out of this in a solid situation moving forward, which I think we will.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Sure hope so.
Yeah.
Ideally the PGA Tour would get RBC back on board. They would let them know what they're going to do, give them a plan that they feel confident in, and keep them on board as one of the big sponsors of the tour. But I think you're right. I think there will be a lot of companies that will be eager to get in if it's an event like this one that draws a lot of eyeballs. Certainly, we know that we have the right team of people working on it over at the Heritage Classic Foundation, and they have been tremendous at developing relationships over the years, and I feel confident that they'll find a way to keep this thing going. But it is kind of alarming. So that is a headline we wanted to bring some light on. And then we had a couple of signings as well at Hilton Head Christian Academy. Maya Hutchinson, who of course we have covered tons and tons over the years, terrific basketball player. She's going to go play basketball at Pensacola State Junior College down in Florida, where, fun fact, former USCB baseball coach Brian Llewellyn is the baseball coach and AD. So Lowco connections down at Pensacola. But really excited for Maya to get a chance to continue her career. And I think the JUCO route makes a ton of sense for her because, I do think she has D1 next level talent with a couple more years to develop and learn to play in a system a little bit more. And I think she's got a shot to really, blossom and have a shot somewhere else.
No doubt. Really special player. And I was really so happy to see her, come over to Hilton Head Christian Academy and just continue the tradition that they had going over there. And one of the greatest players in that program that I've seen. I mean, just a go-to scorer that can at will find a way to get to the hoop and make things happen. Her shooting touch just got better as her career went on. And she, I think, is going to find a good role or a solid role. I mean, it may not just be the usage percentage. So that's the thing. Like, she's not going to take that number, like that high level of usage at the next level.
Right.
But if she can find a way to be efficient, which I know she will, and be that team first player, I mean, you can't. You're always going to be the star when you go to that next level. Even at a place like Pensacola, you got to find a way to adjust your game. But I think she really has the work ethic and team mentality to really make that adjustment. So I'm excited for Tamaya. Great person. Really had fun talking, interacting with her, and just really cool because she is one of the best that we've seen. Come through here and was a dominant player, winning multiple state titles for Hilton Head Christian Academy. And Max, I'm sure as an HHE alum, you've been following her as well, and we got to call our last game together as an Eagle.
Yeah, it's a great moment for her. I've been waiting for this day to come around too, because I knew eventually she was going to commit somewhere, and sure enough, she did. And what an amazing player she is. She is so talented, and it really showed in that game against JP2 for the state title. I mean, it was shown. We both saw it. Me and Wes both saw like how talented she and Devin Yard were as a duo together during that game, and she was so special to watch the last couple seasons, and I'm so happy that she is finally committed to a school and a really talented, a really good program to go and head over to. So I'm excited for her. It's a great moment for her, and I cannot wait to see her career continue over to next season.
Yeah, it should be cool. I'll have to reach out to Coach Lou and let him know she's coming and tell him to take care of her, Lowco kid. But one other signing over at Hampton County, I think he signed. He at least committed. Devin Allen, the basketball player, terrific point guard, going to Pfeiffer University. So going to be a Falcon. So congrats to him. Really excited for him to get the opportunity to keep playing as well because he's. I've really enjoyed getting to know that kid and talk with him a number of times. And I love the way he plays. He's definitely a team first guy. A pass first point guard who can also score when the opportunity presents itself and gets after it on defense. And just really like that.
Yeah,
dude.
that's the prototypical guy you want as your program. Someone who has that mentality. He will give up a good look for a better one, find open guy in the corner, stuff like that. I mean, that's what makes winning basketball teams. So he fits that mold perfectly. So excited to see what he does. Major
Yeah, man.
potential.
And then I saw another one just come across. It's a post-grad thing, but Micaiah Hamilton from Bluffton, formerly HHCA, going to join a post-grad program at Thomas Ridge. Not sure where that is, but congrats to him for finding a spot. And I don't know if we mentioned it the other night, but Caden Turner also doing the post-grad route at a place called Prestige Worldwide, which if you're a fellow Step Brothers fan, you like that. Prestige Worldwide.
Right.
But yeah. I couldn't help it when I saw it. I was like, "What? Wait, Prestige Worldwide? That's from Step Brothers."
Yeah, I was like, what?
Prestige Worldwide. Great presentation, by the way. But boys, that's about all we got going on tonight. We're winding down, so we'll shout out our Lowco Booster Club, Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, our Lowco natives who are with Charter One Realty, and they want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Revive, Rehab, Women's Health, and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. Dr. Allie and Dr. Jen love to help out new moms. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, as well as all kinds of other cool stuff. Check out their showroom on Argent Boulevard to see what they can do for you at Eagle Creations. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Go in for the conversation and come out with great style. And Barefoot Floor Care, the Lowcountry, Chris Odom will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. That's the Lowco Booster Club.
Before Lowco shouts, I actually have a couple of news pieces I forgot to share.
Oh, here we go.
Including, we got some softball news out of Bluffton. Senior catcher Reagan Kelly selected to the South Carolina Athletic Coach Association North-South All-Star Games. Reagan Kelly, a strong year behind the plate for
going to Columbia College, I believe.
To her. And then over also at Bluffton, Ava Rogers was named to the All-Region team. So that came across. Yeah. Congratulations to Ava.
The all-region stuff's out there, but I haven't seen full lists. I just keep seeing individual teams posting their stuff, and that's hard for us to round them all up.
Yeah, and then All-American Football Camp, we had some more coaches announced today. Some of the guys we have known. I mentioned Rodrigo Blankenship coming back over the weekend. Some more coming across today, including some we know very well. Gaston Moore, former Hilton High quarterback. He had a strong, did he have some appearances through the Tennessee?
Yeah, one time he had 100% completion rate, but I think he might have finally thrown an incompletion.
Yeah. That would have been something if he kept a perfect completion percentage. Yeah, it's cool to see. He's a great guy. He was there when I first came over to LowcoSports for 2019. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then
he's still a volunteer. Like he's only junior, I believe. So
yeah,
maybe we'll get to see him go some more this year.
Yeah. And then a couple of other guys. Coastal Carolina quarterback Noah Kim. He was a starting quarterback for Michigan State, and now he's on his way to Coastal Carolina over in Conway. And then Shike Thompson, the former Stockton, East Carolina linebacker, will also be a camp counselor alongside another very familiar name, former Maryville Shark, Jaden Jones.
Jaden Jones.
Yeah.
Morehouse. Maroon Tigers. Yeah, that's my boy, Jaden Jones. I'm so
I love watching
so happy for him. He's having success at Morehouse.
At May River.
He sat for a minute at Morehouse, and then they let him in there, and they can't get him out of there now.
Yeah.
He's the dude now. He's an animal. But yeah, we knew there were more coming, but it just mind blowing every time. It's really fun, and it's really cool for the local kids who get to come back and work it too, because a lot of them went to it when they were kids, and now they get to come back and be a coach, and what a cool feeling that is. Like, wow, you never thought that would happen, right? You looked up to those guys so much, but all right. Well, who are we shouting out? Wes, you got a shout out tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a favor for Max. I'm gonna keep all his guys
on the board.
On the board, I'm gonna go with somebody you mentioned, but it was a really cool thing to see from her, Maddie Washington. I mean, coming back from injury, basketball season, goes out, wins the shot put, the discus for Bluffton. I love that. She's amazing. Love to see her back out there, not just competing, but picking up some gold medals. And just really, really proud because she knew that it was disappointing to see her. I mean, it was the Bluffton missed her by leaps and bounds in that playoff run. Just really tough to see her being away from that squad because that was a 1-point loss that ended their season. Just a really tough defeat, but I'm sure she still wishes she could have been out there in 92, but just great to see her back out competing and getting some wins in track and field. So so proud of Maddie. Congratulations to her. I'm going to miss her competing at the high school level, but I think she has much bigger things in store in the next chapter.
Yep. She'll be seated 4th in the discus and 6th in the shot because the upper state was pretty strong in both. But I think this was like, I mean, she just got back, so I wouldn't be surprised if her numbers go up significantly again next week.
You
And
that,
she
like
ends up
just
on the podium.
just returning from injury. I mean, to be
Right.
right back there and putting up these
Unreal.
kinds of and winning these events. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Testament
good
to her
stuff.
work there.
Gee, Max, who are you going to shout out?
Oh God, I don't know. No, I gotta go with the pitching duo of James Crosby and Dylan Clark tonight. They kept them in that game tonight for Hill Knight Christian Academy. They were the reason they stayed in that game, and the offense picked it up in the 7th. With the last 3 outs basically. But James Crosby 4 1/3, 1 hit, one run. 1 strikeout. He had 4 walks, not the best, but nonetheless, he held them down. Only allowed 1 run, and then Dylan Clark came in and shut them out. 2 2/3 innings, no hits, no runs, no earned runs, 4 strikeouts, no walks. I mean, that is a quality bullpen outing for Dylan Clark, and that was really, really special to pay attention to and watch tonight. This is the thing we've talked about all season long. They have such depth at pitching that no matter who you put up there, you're going to get at least at the best a decent quality outing. And I think that's what gives them the advantage, especially going into game 2 against PD Academy. Is I think that they know they have the better pitching right now because you just got rid of PD's ace. So now you are sitting here with a really solid shot of taking game 2 at home in front of your home crowd to take your first state title since 2010. So, I mean, they are set up and ready to go for game 2. And I couldn't be more prouder of the ways Crosby and Dylan Clark played tonight.
Yeah, good ones. I'll throw another one the Eagles' way and shout out Jackson Richardson. I think he's a freshman, right? Just freshman? Freshman
I
or
believe he's
sophomore.
a freshman.
Very young.
Yeah.
He's a young kid, and that's a tough spot. Cody comes up injured, and you got to plug him in. He's in the 1 hole. He's not used to hitting leadoff. I guarantee you that. And then he comes up to lead off the inning when they were down 1-0 go to the 7th, and draws a walk and sets the tone, and goes and scores the tying run, and they rally and win the thing. So. It takes everybody, and it's really easy on a baseball team when you run mostly the same 9 guys out there every day, and it's going well. There's no reason to switch it up, so you don't get a lot of chances. It's tough to keep your head right and be ready in the moment, and for him to come in that spot and get a hit and then draw a walk and score the tying run, that's huge. To have a guy come off the bench and be able to do that mentally and physically. So shout out to Jackson Richardson coming up big tonight. Next man up, got her done. So Eagles go on to the clincher potentially on Wednesday, 6 o'clock over at the cage. We'll definitely
Team Lowco will be there.
Get as many people out there as we can. If you're not busy, get out there. Going to be a good time. We'll also have, I'm guessing the Carlton prep game against Clarendon Hall will end up on Wednesday as well. But we don't know that for sure yet.
The second round.
And we'll have round 2 of the golf. Yep. Round 2 of the golf. Could be a little soggy out there. But
Yeah.
that'll do it for tonight's show, boys. Been a good one. Thanks so much to all of our sponsors who make all this possible. Thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch, and we'll try to solicit some guests for you the rest of the week and add a little color to this thing. But that'll do it for tonight. Thanks so much, and until next time, for Wes Kerr and Max Arraj, I'm Justin Jarrett. Go Loco. Whoa, I don't have it. There it is.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.